My name is Brett with Tribe Title, and today I have Kirsten Kroh with me of Crow's Nest and KW Real Living. So thanks for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So just going to talk about real estate, life, all that good stuff. So how long have you been doing real estate now?
I have been in it since September of 2016, so I'm going on 7 years.
Okay, so a little bit of time now.
Yep.
All right. And you were with a different company before KW, correct?
I was. Yep. I came to KW in January of 2021.
Okay.
So I've been here almost 2 years, a year and a half now.
Okay, cool. And now that transition for you, were you a solo agent at the last company you worked for?
I was not. I was on a team for my first couple of years in real estate. And in about June of 2020 or so, I decided to go off on my own and leave my team. And I stayed at where, that same brokerage that I was at. And
you
then,
can name them.
You can't. Okay. I stayed at Real Estate One. They were great. Great. I stayed at Real Estate One, for that 6 months. And then in January, I just decided it was time for a change and something different.
Yeah.
So, and I talked to Dominic a lot and Aaron, and they got me over here. So, but I'm so happy.
Cool. So it's been a good transition for you.
Such a good transition. Such a great transition.
And I know a little bit about when you came over. So you came over as a solo agent, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then was that through meeting with them and discussing it, or was an ambition of yours to have a team?
After I was on a team, I just kind of realized, I think there's certain people that are meant for a team and certain people that kind of are meant to kind of, spread their wings and do their own thing.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I just kind of wanted to do my own thing. I didn't want to have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
That's why I got into real estate. I don't want to have to answer to anybody.
Right.
I want to be my own boss. And I am now, but that's kind of what was happening. And I still did my own thing, even on the team. But I still had somebody to answer to, right? I still had, somebody was still getting some of my money.
Right.
And I wanted to, if I was making all of these connections and I was, and these were my people that I was bringing in, I just felt that I wanted all of that, to be me and Kirsten and,
Right.
So that's kind of why I decided to do that. Is it stressful? For sure. It is a little bit stressful, but it's definitely the best thing. That's the best decision that I made. It was the best decision for me and my family at that point in time. And I'm so happy that I did it. Yeah. And my team was great. And I think teams are great, but it was time for me to go on my own. I think I'm more of a leader as opposed to being on a team.
Right. I like that you didn't say follower.
Yeah, I didn't want to say follower.
Right. It just sounds bad.
Right.
That's cool. But I like that your team, you've grown slowly, right? I mean, you're not in a rush to become the biggest team.
Oh gosh, no. Yeah. I don't want to be, I don't necessarily want my name in the headlights. I don't want this ginormous thing. I just want to be able to do my job, take care of people, and still have time for my kids and my family.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing, because real estate can get so busy and you can start making so much money, and it's addicting, right?
Right.
When you see these big checks coming in and then you see your bank account growing, it's just like, dang, just sell another one,
Right.
But so it can get really addicting, but it gets very overwhelming. So you need to have so I'm working on getting, somebody who can be my transaction coordinator and stuff like that, because I am at the point right now where I've already done almost 30 transactions this year.
Wow.
And so it's overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
It gets very overwhelming, but you need to get to the point where you're you need to hire somebody, Kirsten.
Yes.
You have to.
Yeah, you need to leverage yourself.
Yeah,
a little
so
bit.
that was the thing with the team, is that I already had that, that was in place. So that was a positive with the team. I had somebody that I could just give my paperwork to, and it was done, and then I'm on to the next one. Here, I'm doing all of my paperwork and everything. That's my choice right now. I just need to hire somebody.
Yeah, for sure. And you're trying to do that right now,
I
right?
am. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And is
Slowly.
that your biggest, is this your biggest year in real estate so far?
Yeah, I've surpassed last year already.
Okay.
So it is definitely my biggest year yet. Every year seems to get bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
This year is blowing last year out of the water.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the thing is too, you were saying you get kind of addicted, but it's also, you always hear in real estate, when it's going good, take advantage of it, because you may have a downturn.
For sure.
So that's got to be a motivator too. When you see a deal, you don't want to pass anything up, because you don't know when the next, stretch without anything is going to be.
Absolutely. And I think that's a lot of commission-based, fields.
Yeah.
Because we are 100% commission. I could show houses. I could drain my bank account and everything driving around with these gas prices,
Yeah.
And showing houses. And I don't get paid until we sign on those dotted lines. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you just take while you can. And especially in this busy season, it's been very busy. But yeah, you take it while you can. Right. For sure.
I like too what you say, like this has been your best year, even better than last year, which Dominic always preaches, like it's all about perception. And like everybody says, it's a shifting market, it's downturn, it's all these things. But he's saying like, if that's your mindset, that's what it's going to be.
Absolutely.
But in your mindset, I'm imagining you don't see a downturn at all.
No. And I think that one of the biggest things, like when all this COVID stuff happened, it was scary. And I mean, it was scary for everybody. Like, I didn't think anybody was going to be selling. I wasn't able to show a house. Right. I wasn't able to leave my house to go and actually physically do my job. Yeah. Right. So, and at that time, like that was kind of crazy. You know, you can't even go into a house and physically do your job. So how do you sell a house like that? Yeah. I still sold houses like that. We did them all virtual, and some people got into some real smelly houses at that time, but like, because you can't, physically see it, smell it. But yeah, I think that's the thing. If you have to, being an entrepreneur in general and being a realtor, you have got to continue to work at it all the time. It doesn't matter. So it's not going to just come to you. And I think that's why some people don't succeed in it too. I mean, it's not just going to come to you, right? You have to work for it. So, but yeah, that's any entrepreneur, I feel. But yeah, same with real estate. And
I feel like it speaks volumes to your mindset because you kind of have that ambition to succeed and keep going, where a lot of people will get those first couple big checks and then they go, oh, I'm good. I got a bunch of money in my bank. I can let my foot off the gas and just kind of go do my thing for a while. And then they're struggling because they realize their bank account dried up and they have nothing in the pipeline.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that. It was really exciting when you first get into it and you're selling these houses and all of a sudden you get this check for like $7,000 and you're like, what the heck? Like that took me months to make $7,000. That was like, I used to make $28,000 a year. That was, that's what I made. I was a daycare teacher. That's what I made, So making your first $7,000, you're like, holy cow, like what is this? Right. Taxes don't come out of that, Kirsten. Right. Like there's a lot of things that you learn as you go. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, it's wild.
And now, so your team, how many people do you have on your team right now?
So my mom got her real estate license, so it's just her and I. She helps me and I help her. Yeah. So that's kind of just the team that I have. Yeah. It's nothing crazy. Right. Again, I don't know that I even want necessarily any other agents. I help her, she helps me, and it kind of works. I don't want to have to babysit or anything like that. Right. I will help people all day long. If they want to call me, I will give free advice. I will help somebody write a purchase agreement. I'll help anybody. Yeah. I just don't know that I'll be somebody's mentor, Right. I just don't know that I want to have to deal with somebody else's every transaction or something like that. I have 2 young kids that I have to babysit. Right.
So that would be something that maybe once you get pieces in place to leverage yourself, then at that point you'd be ready to accelerate and grow.
Yeah, maybe later on down the road for sure. Yeah. I mean, my daughter's talked about wanting to be a realtor also, and so was my son. Right. They're 9 and 4. I don't think, they don't know what they want to do yet. Yeah. I had never thought I would be a realtor in my wildest dreams, but it's definitely been fun for sure.
That's cool. So how did you get into it exactly?
How did I get into it? So actually the team that I was on, she had sold us our house and I absolutely loved the whole process of it. And I thought it was fun to look at houses. So we got into it and then we ended up finding out that we had a ton of termite damage in our house. It was not my realtor's fault or anything at all. She was amazing, but the sellers didn't disclose it. And so we had $160,000 worth of termite damage in our house. Cow. Yeah, it was wild. So, and my husband's a veteran. So we went through all of the VA pest inspections and everything. Yeah. And it comes to find out that the pest inspector was not licensed or insured. So we just got dealt a really terrible hand. Yeah. Lots of tears, lots of, because at that time we were first-time home buyers. We had emptied out our bank account.
And you were still in daycare at that time, right? I was
still working in the daycare, making $28,000 if I was lucky a year. Yeah, that's scary. He was jumping around from job to job, figuring it out as he just got out of the military. Right. So, and we had Peyton at the time. We had a 2-year-old. Yeah. So, and the house was hideous, but we had just figured that we would just, fix it up as we go. And once we found all that stuff, we had tried so hard. There was nothing to go after the pest inspector for,
Right.
and the VA wasn't helping us. So we ended up having to do it ourselves. So from that day forward, there was just like one day that it snapped, and I was like, forget this. Like, I'm going to go into real estate, and I am going to help people instead of just be in it just for the paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't work for free.
Right.
But I'm not in it to make money.
Right.
I'm in it to... I'm a matchmaker. I want to help people find their new home, and I'd rather show you 1 million houses than you to ever settle on a house. That is like my biggest thing. I don't ever want anyone to ever have to settle on a house. That's that drives me crazy. I had somebody text me actually this morning, and they said, I'm just getting desperate, Kirsten. And I said, but don't, like, it's not worth it. You do not want to settle. I mean, that's a big purchase.
Oh yeah.
So I'd rather show somebody 1 million houses and them not find the one. And I've worked with people for years before they found exactly what they were looking for.
And they always will.
They will.
It's just a matter of time.
Yes. Yeah, they will. Some people are super particular as to what they want, and some people are not, you know? So the people that are super particular may have already had another house before, and they're looking, for their forever home. And so that might take us a little longer.
Yeah.
But that's okay,
Yeah.
They're patient with it too. So never settle on a house. It's not worth it, you know?
It's really
not. Yeah.
I like that you say that too, that you got in it to help people, because that's, from the people I've talked to, the ones that are successful, a lot of them have gotten into it for situations like that. Like, they bought a house, something went terribly wrong, and they decided they wanted to get in it to help people.
Yeah.
And then they do it, and it's like the money follows. Like, they're doing what they want to do, and they're passionate about helping people, and the money just follows. So, I mean, it's like, do the right thing, and you'll be successful.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. I never knew. I had no idea how much money realtors make. I had no like, that was not even, it was not even on my radar to become a realtor.
Right.
I was in the EMT, I was in EMT, and I was in the program to bridge over to my paramedic and then become a nurse eventually. Yeah. And it just it just fell into your lap. So it wasn't, I was always wanted to help people, I think, as an EMT, a paramedic, nurse. But this is just a different way of helping people. Yeah. So I just don't want, buying a house is one of the biggest purchases you're ever going to make, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I would
Me,
say
for
so.
sure it is. But you should never settle, and you should definitely make sure that you have somebody in your corner that is, as gung-ho about it and supportive about it as you are. Right.
For sure. I agree. And it's good you didn't get into those other professions, because, then you would be chained to a schedule and a boss. And
Yep. And now you say that, but I also work 24, we work 24/7 too. Yeah. I did. It's funny because I thought that getting into real estate would give me more freedom. Right. But I do, right? Like going on a week-long vacation to Mexico in October, that's happening, being able to just run and take my kids to Disney. That was fun. Just being able even to go away for the weekend, and I can do that stuff. I can
work from wherever.
I can work from wherever. I can take my kids on field trips. So that's nice, that I don't have to ask for time off to go to a field trip with my kids. Right. I do like that freedom.
Yeah. The flexibility to me is the thing. Like you said, you work 24 hours a day, which is true. But to me, there's always been a difference to taking a phone call sitting at my desk or taking a phone call with my kids in the car.
100%.
You know what I mean? At least I'm there, and they're going to remember that part of it.
Absolutely. I can go to those baseball games now and that horseback riding, and I can take a call there. It might take me 5 minutes to finish up the call, but at least I'm there. Yeah. You're right. Absolutely. I'm not at my desk and have to drive an hour to get to wherever, Yeah. Absolutely.
That's cool. And like your mom, she took most of the summer off, right? Didn't she do a lot of camping and traveling?
Yep.
And
she did tons of camping and traveling.
She was obviously working a little bit because she came back and she's cranking.
She is. She's got a couple of deals going right now. So she's on a roll too.
That's awesome.
A couple listings coming up.
Do you like working with your, I'm guessing if you're going to start a team, there's nobody that's going to probably give you more truthful feedback than your mother.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So she's been so supportive of it. And I don't think she was ever really thinking about real estate until she got out of the car business and she retired. And then she was like, that looks like kind of fun. Yeah. Like maybe I should do it. And I was like, I support it. Get your license. Yeah. So it's fun. It's nice. It's nice that I can just call her and be like, hey, I can't get to this showing. I need you to show this house. It has been fun, and it's been fun to teach her. She gets a little frustrated sometimes because she's used to knowing everything. Right. Like she was the professional in her business for so long.
What did she do?
She was in the car business, but she worked in she did sales forever. Yeah. But then I don't even know, something in the back end of it. And so she helped like transfer leads that came through.
Oh, okay.
Which is, she's great at, transfer,
Yeah.
turning leads over and stuff like that and converting leads to her own.
Right.
But she did that for so long. So I think, and she's really good at talking to people. So I think that she totally has it in her too, to be a realtor also.
Oh, yeah.
And it definitely works out because she helps me. And then, of course, I'm living there right now because we just sold our house
Right.
and bought our property and our building. But it is definitely helpful with my kids and everything. And it gives her that financial freedom too.
Yeah.
That hopefully my dad can retire very soon.
Right. And it's nice too, because then she knows firsthand what you're going through. So it's like when somebody hears somebody's busy, they kind of like, well, yeah, are they really? But when somebody knows firsthand, like your husband, for example, like they always say, like, nobody knows what it's like to have gone through boot camp to be a Marine until somebody that actually has done it, because you can explain it, but nobody gets it until you've done it.
Absolutely.
Same thing with that. Like your mom, now she knows, like, man, when she's asking for help, it's because she really is busy.
She really needs it. Yeah. And I'm not one that asks for help. I don't like to ask for help. But I'm realizing now it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
That's just who I am.
Right.
I've never asked for help. And it's probably one of my mom's biggest pet peeves about me and my husband's. Like, Kirsten, just ask. That's all you have to do is ask. But I'm just the type of person that thinks, I can do it all. I can do it all.
Right.
Well, not when you have like 10 pending transactions, Kirsten, and you can't do it all.
Yeah.
You can't pick up the kids, take it, you just can't do everything.
And you have to let some of it go, because by allowing somebody to help you, you're being a better service to your people.
Absolutely.
Because nobody wants a messy deal, because you're scrambling 10 different things at once. Everybody wants a smooth deal. So yeah, if you need to get help, then it's best to do it.
It is. And it's best to do it. So I would love to tell all realtors, it's best to do it before you get to the point where you're like me and you're chaotic and you're like, okay, now I need to hire somebody.
Yeah.
Do it before you get to that point.
Right.
Because otherwise you're like me and you're like, okay, now I have to train somebody to do this stuff. But I don't know how. Like, how am I going to train you
while
I'm
you're
busy?
in the midst of pure chaos?
Exactly. So you almost need to find somebody that. But I've actually been thinking about having my mom maybe do some of that stuff for me.
Yeah.
Because she's not as busy. She is busy, but she's not as busy.
Yeah.
And then just, kind of filtering somebody in from there.
Right. And the cool thing is too, with your mom's background, if she sat with somebody, she'd probably pick it up really quickly.
Easily.
And she's probably extremely organized.
Super.
And
yes,
then in turn, that would be your stepping stone to then she could train somebody,
Exactly.
which alleviates you.
Exactly.
And then you could obviously backflow some of your commission to her, and everybody's happy.
And everybody's happy. And then it's there.
Yeah.
Right. But if you don't have somebody that you can depend on like that, then it makes it a little tough because, I think Dominic told me this. Who has ever run their business with like a successful business, just one person?
Yeah.
I mean, there is no business
Nobody.
that runs successfully with just one person.
Right.
I have to remind myself that I am a business. Like what I do is my own business and I can't run it on my own. I can't do all the financials, just everything. There's so much that comes into being a realtor that I think people don't see
Right.
That you need help with.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people think it's just like, hey, you go out and you open a door, they look, they like it, you write on a piece of paper, and then you just go close it.
Yeah,
and it's like there's
golly,
so much stuff in between there.
So much in between there.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, we could do a whole podcast on all the things that realtors do,
Right.
but
Could probably do a few.
you probably could do a whole show of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's a ton of things that obviously realtors do, and definitely asking for help it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. I always look at like huge corporations, and let's say it's one that's owned by an individual, and I'm thinking like somebody that has like 3,000 employees. I'm like, how can they possibly know what's going on there? I mean, you can't. At some point, you just have to trust the people that you hire and hope they're doing their job. Because really, I mean, there's no way you can oversee an operation that big.
No way. I can't even fathom because I have a hard time just overlooking what I'm doing every day. So I can't imagine. And that's the other thing too. With that being said, I have been so nervous to hire somebody too, because it's like, then I have to worry about feeding them and their family too, right? So I am their source of income. I have to make sure that I'm still producing at the level that I'm producing in order to pay that person.
Right.
Because if I'm going to hire somebody, I don't want to hire them for a short term. I just need you here and there. No, I want to hire you and I want to bring you on.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to offer you, everything that, the moon, the stars, and the sun.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, where I'm just, okay, now I don't need you anymore. Now you're fired. Now I have to find somebody else.
Right.
Like that's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I want to just make sure, which I am. I just have that, maybe it's that limiting belief, that you have subconsciously in your head. But yeah, I mean, that is, you have to make sure that you make enough to pay somebody else, which I do.
It's nice too, though, that you actually accept that responsibility, because that's what a lot of people don't look at. They look at it as this accessory, but it's like, no, this is a person that probably left their job to come work for you. They want the same things we want. They probably want time with their family. Yep. They want to make an income that can, allow them to live the life they want to live.
Absolutely.
And they're relying on you to make sure that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I need to make sure that I'm producing still at the same level, to make sure that I can still provide for my family and I can provide for their family, which is just something that is just mind-boggling to think that I could hire somebody and pay for their, I mean,
it's really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool, but never in my wildest dreams did I ever think that I would be where I'm at right now.
That's so crazy. Funny too, because I did the closing for the lady that you used to work for when you were in daycare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was so wild to think like you used to be her employee and now you're at a point where you're going to be employing people.
Yeah, and you know what I said? I was so thankful that because they have other realtor friends, you know. I was so thankful that they called me. I didn't leave on bad terms, and I really loved my job there. I really loved everybody that I worked with at the daycare. I mean, they're fantastic, and they've all become friends. And the fact that I left there, and I was moving up in that company too. They were putting me through schooling. I was on the verge of becoming a director of one. So I was moving up in that company, and they paid for some, for me to go to a trip to Florida and stuff like that for trainings. And then I decided to go into real estate. And when I did, they were so happy for me and they were so supportive. And I think that just speaks volumes as to who they are. And then for her to call me to help sell her house and purchase a new house was just like, okay, it was almost like that point where like, damn, I've made it.
Yeah. It's gone full circle.
Yeah, it's gone full circle. And then, and I started there at a very young age, so they kind of watched me grow up. They watched my struggles through financials and, me and my husband and, just life, they watched me grow up. And so the fact that they trusted me on such a big purchase, I mean, they were almost $1 million, all said and done. So to trust me, I mean, that was a big deal to me. Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, that's cool. Mm-hmm. And they were super nice.
The sweetest. They're such good people.
Yeah. Awesome. As far as your mom going with the business, do you ever see it growing into like a family business? I mean, is it something, would your husband ever want to be involved in any aspect of it, or is it just not his thing? Yeah.
So actually, mine and my husband's dream, so we were kind of high school sweethearts, and our dream forever has been, whenever he would come home like on leave and stuff, we would drive around and we would just go and look at houses, and we would get lost and just be driving, and we would be looking in Dexter, and we would be looking in South Lyon, and we would just go and drive around and look at houses. And he was like, wouldn't it be so cool to be able to flip houses one day and stuff? So actually, we did just sell our house and we bought property, but we're looking for some rentals right now so that he can kind of be my little handyman fixer-upper, and he can kind of take control over flips and rentals and stuff like that. So I think that's the route he was going to go with it. He did get his inspector, he went to classes for inspectors and stuff. I'm not 100%, he's done some here and there. I'm not 100% certain that that's exactly what he wants to do. He loves being hands-on. Yes. So he completely redid our house. He's doing all the work to our property so he likes doing stuff like that. It's fun for him. So why not? Why not go buy a couple rentals and let him fool around with them. I mean,
I'll talk to him about that, because I flipped before this, and I love it. If the house prices hadn't turned the way they would, that's what I would have done full time, because it's so much fun. You go in there, turn on the radio, you do your thing.
Just do your thing.
You see what you got done every day. It's rewarding.
Yeah, and then you get to go at your own pace too, right? If we've already purchased it, we've already bought it, it's ours.
Yeah, you have no holding costs.
Let's just do it, and I am able to have the extra funds to be able to do something like that right now too, which is nice. Yeah. But that's what he would really like to do.
That's cool.
I think we're going to do it.
Yeah. And if you can do it, my biggest regret was everything that I flipped, I should have held as a rental, because at the time too, like I would look back in a year and I'd be like, man, I could have made an extra 20 grand plus what they would have paid in rent, and every time I'm like, I should have rented.
I know, we do that too, even with our house that we just sold. Yeah. Because we completely flipped that house. He did such a good job with that house. Yeah. we wanted to rent it. My payments were only $780 a month. I mean, they were cheap.
Right.
And what we sold it for, though, I mean, we ended up banking a ton of money on that house. I mean, he paid double what we paid for that, or more than double. So that was great. But I say the same thing. I'm like, gosh, do you know what we could have rented this house out for? That's all great and everything, but I think that house had too many memories for it. Like, I would be so sad if a renter came in there and just trashed my house, because that's my baby. That house was my baby. But as far as like, there are still some out there, so we should talk about partnering up for sure. Investments for sure.
But that's cool. That's why I asked, because that's, to me, is the best financial freedom, is when everybody in the family is involved. And it's like, then everybody shares. You know, it stinks if you have this flexible schedule and then your husband has a 9 to 5. It's like,
he doesn't have to work right now.
Right.
That's nice.
So that's perfect.
Yeah.
Because that's the idea, is for the whole family to be able to enjoy the time together.
Absolutely.
Which is the dream.
Absolutely. And he was like, Dad, he's like, well, because he's just kind of been in between right now. Like, what should I do? Just figuring, because he was doing the inspector stuff, and he's just, at this point, I mean, he does have a job, but he just, like, I don't know, it doesn't it doesn't fulfill him. It doesn't make him happy. It doesn't. So in finding something, he doesn't need to work right now.
Right.
He doesn't. So finding something that's going to make him happy too. Yeah. Because he sees how happy I am with my job.
Right.
And not that he's jealous. He's super happy for me.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still like, damn, I want something like that.
It is tough.
Yeah.
My wife's like that. She's a dental hygienist. She loves her job. She loves doing it, which is bizarre to me. I'm like, who likes cleaning people's teeth? But she loves it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, do you have any idea how lucky you are to have found that right out of college, and you still do it now, like 15 years into it, and you still love going to work every day?
That's awesome.
And I'm like, doesn't happen to everybody.
No. And everybody has their own things that, like, she loves cleaning teeth. I, in no way, shape, or form, would love cleaning teeth at all. Like, no part of me. But that, again, there's something for everybody. Right. And I think I just wish everybody could just find their niche and just go for it, because it just feels so good when you actually love what you do. Yeah. And it's so rewarding too. And
imagine your interaction in public. If everybody had that thing that they enjoy doing, you know what I mean? Like,
everybody would be so happy.
Yeah. I mean, road rage and stuff is probably somebody going to a job that they hate going to, and somebody cuts them off, but it's like, if they're going somewhere that they loved going to, they probably wouldn't be as affected by it.
They're just do. That's fine. Somebody cuts me off. I'm like, have a good day.
Right. Yeah. I'm just on my way to do what I want to do.
Sure. And every job has their stressors, right? I mean, I still have plenty of days where I'm like super stressed out, but at the end of the day, I still love my job. Yeah. It can stress me out from time to time. Sure. It can be a tough deal. But I know at the end of the day, I'm still helping somebody find a home, or I'm helping somebody get top dollar for a home. Right. And I still love what I do. Yeah. So, and I'm sure she has days where she is like, man, that guy's teeth were ratchet. I did not like that mouth of teeth. Yeah. I
hear about him. Yeah. That guy smoked a cigarette right before he came in.
Lovely. Yeah. Lovely. But, everybody's going to have their bad days at work, but I just wish that everybody could find something, and everybody can. Yeah. I think that a lot of people, you just have to have the want to do it.
And like back to what you were saying, it didn't start as a money thing.
No, yeah.
And then, but because you're doing what you love, and then the money kind of follows. And I feel like a lot of people don't get into or they get into something because of the money.
Yes.
But they don't want to do it.
Yes.
Whereas I'm like, if you find anything you're passionate about and you enjoy doing it, at some point, whether it means you go out on your own or whatever it is, you can make money in just about anything if you do it on your own and you do it with, any level of success.
Absolutely. I mean, people are making so much money right now on being an influencer on Instagram and just posting photos of themselves and sharing that they got their pants from freaking Abercrombie and Fitch. Hi, I can't post like that on social media, so props to those people that can make money off of it. But I'm just not that person. But yes, you're right. You can make money in anything. Yeah. In anything. It's just a matter of, putting your wants before, or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, and I saw something, I actually shared it to my Instagram yesterday, and it said something like, if you're chasing money, it's going to run. But if you're an entrepreneur and you're working hard, it's just going to be there. So like, I'm not chasing money. Right. I'm not chasing the next listing. I'm not chasing the next buyer. They're there and they just keep coming. Yeah. And it's just been steady. So that's I think that's the thing, is at the beginning, I would always be like, shoot, where's the next deal coming from? Where's the next deal coming from? Right. But once you get to a certain point, They just happen. And, you know, I have now my referrals and my repeat clients and stuff like that. And I have new clients too. But referrals are a huge way that I get business now.
Right.
But again, for the longest time, it was like, it would be 2 months and nothing would happen. But again, I worked 2 jobs before so that I, you know, could be able to do this. I didn't go just full real estate right away.
Yeah. And referrals probably are the most rewarding. A, they cost you nothing to get that lead.
Absolutely.
But B, I mean, it says like, hey, you were happy with my services. You trust me.
Yep.
You know I'm going to do my best job for you.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I hope, you know, hopefully do for people.
Yeah.
I mean, I get a lot of referrals, so I'd hope so.
Right. And now with your business, as far as leads go, do you get most of them organically? Do you buy leads? How do you do it?
I don't buy leads at all. So earlier in the year, I had 2 other agents on my team.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work out with them. And I had tried Zillow, and I'd paid probably like $6,000 to Zillow or something over 2 months.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, it wasn't worth it. None of them converted, not one.
Yeah.
And it just was not, it wasn't worth my money. So actually I don't pay for leads at all. I don't spend any money on that. I do spend money on like Facebook ads when I remember to.
Right.
But I don't do any sort of, I don't buy leads at all.
I don't blame
which
you.
is nice.
They're expensive.
They're so expensive, and I just don't need to.
Yeah.
If I needed to, that would be one thing, but I just don't need to.
Right.
I think it's great for people who do. I even have enough right now where I'm getting referrals, and I get calls off my listings now because, again, you know, that was another thing too. You know, when you're on a team, it wasn't my name on those listings, right? It was somebody else's name, which, again, that's totally fine, but I want those leads to come to me because now when I get those leads, I can either take it or I can say, hey, Mom, this is what they're looking for. You know, take these people. And I think that's the other good thing about working with my mom too. I know that these people are going to get taken care of.
Yeah.
I know, you know, and then when I just tell people that we're a team and it's either going to be her or I, and then we're all in a group text, it flows, you know, it flows. And they know that we're a mother-daughter team. And so it's been working.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a great dynamic. I look at that even if like a builder, for example, or a plumber, if he comes out and it's the owner and the owner's son, and the owner's son works for him, like that kid knows what he's doing because his dad wouldn't let him do it any other way.
Absolutely not. Yep. Exactly.
So it's a good team. Yeah.
And so my mom has had her license for a little bit, but still she even, you know, like we had an inspection yesterday and it was for one of our buyers, and the other agent on the other side was brand new. And so I was like, we have to educate this. It was her very first deal. I was like, we have to educate this lady too. And there was a long list of repairs that needed to be made, you know, because it was FHA and everything. There was a long list. And the poor agent on the other side was a little bit overwhelmed. So she got the seller on the phone. So I had to talk to the seller, the agent, and my mom, all of them. But it was okay because we just did whatever we had to do to get the deal.
Right.
The seller was was okay with the agent being newer and me explaining things to her. So we just all worked together to do it. And I think she goes, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy to have a nice agent on the other end of this. And I was like, there are so many, these agents have to remember that we had to start somewhere, right? Like we had to learn too, because they don't teach you this stuff in class.
No,
they don't
everybody
teach you
was
a damn
new.
thing. Yeah. We were all new at one point in time. So, that's another big thing I feel like in real estate. Just be kind. Always realtor, be kind. You
and
know?
it's huge to talk to that person and not sit there and try to throw that person under the bus. Yeah. Which to me is like you said. I mean, everybody's been new at some point. It's kind of like when you're on an airplane and there's a baby crying, you know, and people get upset about it, and it's like you either were a baby at one point or you've had a baby. Yeah. You know what I mean? Either way, like it's just part of the deal.
First class then.
Yeah.
Stay away from us.
Right.
Because
don't bring a baby in first class. That's no.
Yeah, don't do that, guys. Don't do that.
But that's so like, I guess where's your plan for, let's say 2 years from now? Do you see you wanting to add to the team and grow it? Or do you see more of just being able to put these systems in place where you can really enjoy your life the way that you want to do it?
So I think 2 years from now, I want to say that's a long way away, but we know it's flying by, right? 2 years from now, gosh, I'm going to have an 11-year-old and a 6-year-old. That's wild. I'd hope that I even want to try and talk Aaron into getting his real estate license too, so that he can, just have
be good to have it.
It'll be good to have, you know, if he's on that side of town and he can open up a door for me.
Right.
Great. He doesn't have to practice real estate, but probably him getting his license and having a couple flip houses. And then I'll for sure have an assistant by that time. That's This is what I envision, at least. I'll for sure have an assistant that is working, and I might have another agent or two on the team. But as far as that, again, I do not want, like, I don't need, and there's nothing wrong with it at all, but I don't need 200 agents, nor do I want that.
Right.
That sounds like I can't even handle my taxes the way they are now.
Yeah.
I can't imagine making money off of so many other people and then having to, like,
1099 them and do all that.
Yeah, no thanks.
And,
That just sounds like a headache. No thanks. Right. I don't want that. So probably an assistant and maybe a small team, maybe.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, I don't want something ginormous that I'm overwhelmed with where I can't take a step back and be like, okay, maybe I want to just chill for a month, because that is something where I feel like real estate can be very demanding. And sometimes you just might want a month off.
Right. And money's great, but the great thing about money is just the fact that it buys you options, which if you pin yourself down like that, then you don't have those options. You have the money, but you still have no options because you're stuck to the grind.
Exactly. And that's no fun.
No.
It is fun. It's fun to grind, and I've enjoyed this. But
sometimes,
yeah, but sometimes it just gets too overwhelming.
Yeah.
My kids are getting older. They have extracurricular activities now, and I want to be able to enjoy that too, which is why I got into real estate. So I'm going to enjoy that stuff. So I think that will help adding to my team, my quote unquote team, because I don't really have like a team, but whatever it is. I think that will definitely help give me a little bit more flexibility too.
Very cool. And now you said your son will be how old in 2 years?
6.
Okay, so I'm just doing math. So he's 4 right now.
Yeah.
Did he just turn 4 or
He turned 4 in March, at the end of March.
Okay. I didn't realize ours were that close. My youngest is 3.
Okay.
Maybe we got to get them together.
We totally do. For sure we do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Aaron, with that thing too, I think that would be really cool too, because that's actually how I met Dominic and got into this, was because I met with him about getting my real estate license because I got tired of paying the commissions on my flips.
For sure.
But yeah, that'd be a great value add for him. Like, hey, if you want to show this and list it, then you get the extra money too on top of it.
Absolutely. I love it.
Yeah,
I think it'll be really fun. Cool. I want to get my dad into it too. I
there
want him to retire from Ford and come on, go be an inspector. He's super handy too, and he is the best woodworker. He makes the coolest things and stuff. And I'm like, you would be so good. You could be my carpenter.
Yes.
And Aaron can do the little, it would be so fun.
And finding the trades is the hardest part about flips.
So hard.
How people flip using contractors, I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I don't know how you have any profit margins left.
I have no idea.
I did everything myself, and it would get tight at times.
Yeah,
so
we had to
pay.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
When we were doing our house, Aaron and I did, I want to say Aaron and I, Aaron did, most of it.
Yeah.
I ripped apart things and he would have to fix them for me.
Right.
But the things that we did have to hire out, like tile work and stuff, that stuff is not cheap.
No.
Electrical work, because he does not mess with electrical. It's not cheap. So yeah, I can't imagine the people that and getting those, I would throw money at people. Throw money, and you can't get a contractor. They won't come.
No.
Come on. I'm throwing money at you. I'm telling you, I have cash to give you.
Right.
I'm not asking to take out a loan. We have money to give you,
we're
right?
ready to go.
I'm ready. Come do it. And even to get somebody to call you back.
Yes.
Which I'm getting a nice list of people that are reputable now.
Right.
But I had to go through some bad ones in order to get there.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. That's
is.
why I started. The only thing I don't do, tile I do, electrical I do.
Perfect.
I don't
You're
mess
hired.
with plumbing because I don't want. It's just too much.
Aaron does.
Water in a house is no to me. I don't want to be responsible for that. But even mudding, I learned how to mud and tape off YouTube because I'm I cannot pay these people the amount they want, and I can't wait anymore for them to come in. Oh my gosh!
See, you and Aaron will just flop.
Yeah.
This is what's got to happen.
Yeah, we'll team up.
Because he does not. He tried. Poor guy. He tried to mud and tape our basement bathroom, and I was like, I think you should stop now.
That's how my first one turned out. Yeah, it looked like a cupcake.
Yes. So we called in a professional, and they came and they took care of it all and finished all of our drywall that we needed done. But yeah, he's just not. He doesn't have the patience for it.
Oh, it's time consuming.
It is, and I feel like it's like an art.
Yes.
I don't know. It is. I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like mudding, tape, all that.
Yep.
I feel like it's like a work of art.
Oh yeah,
you have to be artistic.
You have to be so patient and it's fun once you figure it out. But it took a while.
It does look like it could be something that people might think I'm weird, like relaxing. I like to do stuff like that. Painting, painting walls, not painting portraits.
Right.
Like painting I like to do stuff like that. Yeah. And I like to do DIY stuff. My husband doesn't like when I do them because he has to fix them all. But I like doing stuff like that too. So I think that's why flips would be so fun.
Yeah, it
too,
is.
or investment properties.
And you're not attached to it. Like you said, it's not like a rental where it's your house. So you're not so emotionally attached to it. It's
where
just
I brought my
this
babies
thing.
home. And that was the hard part about leaving that house. I brought my babies home there. And
And then somebody just destroys it.
No, thank you.
Yeah. No, I agree
let it
with
be
you.
a rental property. You know, that's fine. But
so is that part of your long plan too, is to have some rentals?
Yep. I want to have these rentals because my ultimate goal, I read it, somebody did this for their kids. I know I did not make this up, so I can't take credit for this, but I want to have rentals and I want to be able to have them paid off and gift them to my kids when they graduate so that they have either a house that they want to stay in or they have an income. That's kind of my goal, is to give them or sell them. I don't know how I'll do it yet. Each a rental property or two to be able to have income while they either go to school or do real estate, whatever they do. I mean, I don't care if they go to college or if they go to trade school or if they get their real estate license. I mean, college wasn't for me. It wasn't for my husband, and it might not be for them, and it might be for them.
Yeah.
Peyton says she wants to be a vet, but also a realtor. And I'm like, there's a lot of school in that one, and there's not a lot of school in that one. So you pick.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see where it goes. But that would be my long-term plan, is to have those. And
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
That's what I've always said. It's cool because you can leave this thing behind. I'm like, man, how different would your life have been if somebody had left you behind residual income plus something that kept appreciating in value?
Absolutely.
You know, that would be a game changer. Then they'd be able to find that passion thing for them because they're not under that pressure. Like, well, I better get a job because I have $20 in my bank account.
Yep. And I've worked ever since I was 14, ever since I could get a job, I've always worked, and I moved out when I was 18. So I'm not saying that I want the same for my kids, but they know that they can, and they've helped us on all these projects in the house. Like they like to come over to the property and help take sticks and put them in a pot. They just, so it's not like I'm just giving it to them. They have worked. My kids, they don't just sit around at home. Like, they have to help, and especially when we're doing projects, they loved ripping down all the walls in the basement and stuff like that. But so I think that they would be helpful on rental, as helpful as they can be at 9 and 4 right now. But as they get older too, I mean, they like to do stuff like that. They like to paint the walls, and it might not be perfect every time, but they like to do stuff like that. So it's like they're earning it too. I'm not just giving it to them. I don't want anyone to think that I'm going to go buy these houses and just give it to my kids. No. I had to work, and they're going to work too.
Oh, yeah. You're going to be over there mowing the lawn, cleaning the gutters.
You're going to be doing it all. But I think that's life too. And that's the way that we're raising our kids. And I don't think there's a wrong or a right way, but I would like to be able to do that for my kids.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
That you can put money in the bank all day long, but I think that investing my money, and if they want to sell it afterwards, and after I give it, then they sell it after, that's fine.
Just don't come asking for more.
Don't come asking for more, because there's not any more. So, again, that's my long-term goal, but we'll see.
Yeah, well, you have plenty of time.
I do. I pulled out a piece of paper the other day, and when I first started at Keller Williams, and they had like goals. Yeah. And one of my goals was to, in 5 years, to find our property and build our dream home and take my kids to Disney World. And there were other things on there too, but it's funny because I took my kids to Disney World. Yeah. And I'm only a year and a half in at Keller Williams. We surprised our kids for Disney in December. And then we just bought our property and are building our dream home. So it's awesome. Funny that was my 5-year plan, and I did that within a year and a half. Right. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen in 5 years now?
Yeah, who knows?
Private jet.
No, God, no. I have to have somebody that can drive. Right. Then I have to pay somebody, right? But no, it's been, Yeah, so who knows where it'll happen, what'll happen.
That's cool. All right. Now, what would be the best way for somebody to get a hold of you? If somebody's listening to this and they go, you know what, that's the person I want representing me, how would somebody find you?
Sure. So my phone number is 248-924-8971. And my email is kirstenkroh@gmail.com. And that's kirstenkroh@gmail.com.
All right. And socials?
Oh, social. Instagram is Kirsten Kroh Realtor. And my Facebook is just Kirsten Marie Kroh. Okay. And I have a realtor page too. Kirsten Kroh, I don't know. Just Kirsten Kroh. Awesome. Realtor. Yeah.
And Team Crow's Nest, right?
Yep. Crow's Nest Realty.
I love that.
Thanks.
I love the logo. Like, that's the coolest sign.
Yeah, thanks. That's my
really
friend
cool.
helped me with that. So.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for coming in. Oh, and you so all your socials and everything we shared at the bottom of this. If anybody watches it on video, everybody will see how to get in touch with you, and there'll be links there.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.